Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am 𝐁𝐞𝐜𝐤𝐬𝐿 and I am back with another lecture on the 𝐬𝐿 series. So it is lecture number 4 and the topic is classes and objects. So basically in the prior lectures we learnt about the evolution of programming language, what is the difference between 𝐬𝐿 and functional programming language, and then what is 𝐬𝐿. So basically many people requested me to make the videos in English. So just for them, let's have a quick revision on all the 3 lectures. It won't take much of your time and it would be very useful for you guys as well to have a revision of the prior lectures. So let's have a quick revision of the same. So in the lecture 1 we read about evolution of programming language. So here evolution of programming language basically implies that how we evoluted to a programming language, like how the evolution of programming language took place, like all the stages which were covered in the introduction of programming language or in the upcoming of programming language, inclusion of programming language. So basically here you can see at the very first we had this machine language. So what was this machine language all about? So in this machine language, as you can see 0 1 0 1 1, so as you can see there are some binary notations which are being used. So in this particular machine language, whenever we used to give instructions, we use this particular binary annotation. So basically machine code is not any low level programming language which consists of machine language instructions. If you want, like say that an example, a light bulb is controlled by a processor running a program in the main memory. The controller can either turn the light bulb fully on or can brighten or dim the light. So basically machine language was used just to give instructions to the computer in this binary notation. Now since this was very hard to understand, we switched to assembly language. Now in assembly language, as you can see, there is a short example which is given below, that is MULPQ. So can you guess that what this example simplifies? So basically in this example, assembly language is also a type of low level programming language that is intended to communicate directly with the computer hardware. In this MULPQ, basically it implies multiplication of P and Q. So we were like switched from binary notations to some instructions, and in this no programming constructs like loops were used. But the reason behind switching from assembly language to functional language was no programming constructs like loops was used. So basically we had to do ample number of calculations for just doing a normal addition from 1 to 100. So then we switched to functional and structural language. So in this functional and structural language, there was an inclusion of functional programming where we can use variables as well as function. We can set value, we can get value, and we can do different things. But the problem with functional language was that there were no SS specifiers in this. So when there were no SS specifiers in this functional language, what happened was ki data wasn't secure, because the data was globally available to anyone. Anyone can read or write on the data. Anyone can change that particular data. So consider an example. I have a data of my age, right? So the data is my age. So consider my age is 22 right now. So anyone can not change that particular data because my age is something which is private to me. So I won't allow anyone to change that particular data. So that wasn't achieved in the functional and structural language. So then we switched to 𝐬𝐿. So in 𝐬𝐿 we can like clear all those things in a 90 to 95% way. So in 𝐬𝐿 there was a inclusion of SS specifiers. There was inclusion of SS specifiers like private, public, protected, which can secure our data. The data security was achieved at a very higher level. So in the lecture 2 we saw the same 𝐬𝐿 versus functional language, and the major difference came that in functional language there were no SS specifiers, but in 𝐬𝐿 there were 3 SS specifiers like private, public, protected. And in this data security is hard to achieve, but in 𝐬𝐿 the data security can be achieved because there are 3 SS specifiers. So all the 3 things, like the major emphasis were on data, 3 SS specifiers, and data security can be achieved, are interlinked together. So in the third video we saw what is 𝐬𝐿 all about. So what happened, we use 𝐬𝐿 basically to solve real world problems very easily, and there are 4 pillars of OOPS like abstraction, encapsulation, inheritance and polymorphism that helps us to achieve that very easily. So basically OOPS is kind of a style of programming in which we use classes and objects together. So basically, as the name suggests, object oriented programming. So basically, whenever we use objects in programming, that particular term is called as OOPS. So basically, you can see object oriented programming. So something which is oriented about the objects is called as object oriented programming. So this was all I explained in this particular video. So there would be a doubt at what are classes and objects. So this would be clear in this particular lecture. So welcome back to lecture 4, and here we would be learning more about classes and objects. So what is a class, and then we will be seeing what are objects. So consider an example of animal. So we can say dog is an animal, we can say cat is an animal, we can say bird is an animal. So we can see that different categories are appearing here like cat, bird, dog, and all of them have a generic or a similar term called as animal. So basically, what is class? Class is like a blueprint of data member and functions. So data member and functions. So class is basically a blueprint that is having data member and functions. So basically you can understand it like that ki animal is the class and the objects of that class are dog, cat, bird, etc. So why the need of class came? So basically see, like you can consider an example of car. So basically car is a class. Audi, Maruti, Hyundai are their objects. So basically car would be having some speed, car would be having some weight, and car would be having some number of wheels. So speed and weight is something which Audi might have more, Hyundai might have less, but the number of wheels is something which is common in all the three. Like Audi is also having 4 wheels, Hyundai is also having 4 wheels, and car is also having 4 wheels. So basically if we declare something in the class car, we don't need to declare it in the class Audi or in the class Maruti. So basically if we declare the number of wheels in the class car, we don't need to declare that. So basically they will inherit the properties of the class car, and then they will override the properties depending on their features. Right now I know that these terms like override, inherit would be very new to you guys, but don't lose patience. We would be looking after all the things in the next video as well. Let's take an example of car. So car is a class. It has some data members, variables like speed, number of wheels, weight, and methods like get speed, get weight. So basically as you can see, data members here implies some variables like speed, number of wheels, and weight, and methods like get speed and get weight. Okay, so as you can see, car class, public here is the S specifier. Now double is the data type, weight is the feature or we can say data member of this particular car class. Then string is the data type, and then type is also a data member of this particular class. And then we can get the weight using this get weight function, and it will return the weight. So basically it is a short implementation of a class, and here we give the semicolon whenever the class ends in C++. So basically this was a particular implementation of the class car. Here you can see this comment which is written as getter, and you might be confused what is getter. So we would be looking on this as well in our next videos. So basically let's move to object. What is an object? So as you can see, object is an instance of class. So as I have told you earlier, like if there is a class called as car, there might be class like Audi, Hyundai, Maruti, which would be of type car, but they might have some more features or additional features or additional properties. So in the above example, car is a class. So when we create an object of the class car, that object has all the properties and the data of the class car, members of the same. Let's consider we create an object of class car as car Audi. So as you can see here, we in the previous slide we declared the class as car. Now here we are making an object of the class car. So basically we give the class name and then the object name. So we have created car Audi. Now you can see that we can use the members as dot. So Audi dot wheel like the data member equals to 4. Audi.getWeight would get me the weight for the same, and Audi.wheel would tell me the number of wheels the car is having. So basically this is a short implementation of an object. So basically you can think like this, if this is my object car, so this car class might be having some data members, data. So basically you can consider I am having a class car. This might have some data members and some methods. So whenever I make an object of this class car Audi, it would have all the data members and all the function in this particular object. So basically we create an object of class car as car Audi, and we get all the properties and data members for the same. So this is the beauty of classes and objects, that if we make any class, then whenever we make an object, we get all the data members and all the functions of that particular object. So this was all about classes and objects in this particular lecture. I would be coming with some more lectures on OOPS in this particular series. Till then, if you're someone who has liked my content, please hit the like button. If you're someone who is new to my channel, please hit the subscribe button as well. And if you're someone who is finding this series useful, please comment down to give your proper feedback. And if you want the inclusion of anything, please do comment that as well. Till then, take care, keep learning, keep growing. Bye all.